Hello everyone, my name is Pierre-Louis. I'm the president of the Black Student Union here at Spanish River. Today, we've prepared a presentation for you all to showcase the wide array of talent our school has to offer in furtherance of promoting the celebration of African American history during this great month. The national theme for Black History Month this year, Black Family, Representation, Identity, and Diversity, explores the African American diaspora and the spread of Black families across the United States. As you hear these songs, poems, and dances of our diverse student body, I encourage you all to think about how today's performances have been influenced by the migration of the Black family throughout America and the world.
Take two eyes to make a pair. Brother, we can't quit until we get our share. Say it loud. Say it loud. One more time. Say it loud. I've worked on jobs with my feet in my hand. You know, all the work I did was for the other man. Now we demand a chance to do things for ourselves. We're tired of beating our head against the wall and working with someone else.
Tears go and fall away, oh, may the last one burn into flames.
People protesting on our streets, in our countries, and around the world are raising their voices, eager to be heard.
It is time we did more than listen.
More than condemn. It's time we talked about racism openly and honestly.
As a society, we need to confront reality.
We relentlessly need to fight racism and discrimination. Visible discrimination, of course, but also more subtle racism and discrimination, our unconscious biases.
In the justice system and law enforcement, in the labor and housing markets, and in education and healthcare.
We must join forces at all levels, national, regional, local, public or private, business and civil society, and each of us individually as citizens.
Together, we need to answer important questions. Why do discrimination and racism exist in our society?
Why are members of ethnic and religious minorities underrepresented in political, social, and academic institutions and overrepresented in poverty, illness, and law enforcement statistics?
This is not the work of a sectoral policy, of a single person or a single commissioner. This is the work of citizens coming together in unity to rectify this.
We need to talk about racism with an open mind.
With courage, compassion, and understanding.
We need to do better in making everyone feel that they matter and that they are human.
So let's start there. Let's work together to build a better community and a better nation.
Good morning. I'm Henderson Tillman, World History Honors teacher, and also African History teacher here at Spanish River. I was asked to talk about myself in terms of African American history during Black History Month. I began at Boca Raton High School in 1985, where Dr. Art Johnson was the principal. And then from Boca Raton, I came over to Spanish River after being recruited by Dr. Johnson after I arrived back from North Carolina, after spending a year in North Carolina. My tenure as a teacher for the last 38 years is based a lot on the way I was brought up. I was brought up actually in a two-parent family household in Boynton Beach. However, my father died when I was at an early age. And so I was raised by my mother and with the help of my uncles. Mother raised 6 kids, primarily by herself, of course then with the help of my uncles. And so it's only befitting that really I have to pay tribute to an icon in my life and in the community in Boynton Beach. The word Black. B is for actually how brave she was in terms of what she was able to do and what she was able to accomplish. Her leadership skills, L. She was a missionary for many, many years in her church, and she showed her determination in whatever she did. There's an activities bus that athletes catch now that takes them home in the afternoon. That activities bus was a plan pushed by my mother and others during the desegregation period during the late 1970s at Lake Worth High School. She was astute, very determined, very willing to do what was necessary to make it possible for us as children to be successful. C, she was class act. My mother was a class act, always was a lady, always took the high road in every situation. And then finally, she was a kind person. She really was. To anyone she met, no matter what their persuasion was, she always had an open door for whoever there was. So my retirement is a tribute to my mother, right? And so everything that I am, everything that I always hope to be, right, I take from her, right? The matrilineal side of my family. I dedicate this to my mother, Mrs. Rose Tillman, who just recently passed away. She was 93 years old. And so as I wind down my career, I am glad that I've had the opportunity to impact students here in South Florida, right? And so I look forward to my retirement and moving on to the next chapter of my life. And now here's TJ with Ms. Kendra Thomas, a former Spanish River student.
Hello everyone, I'm TJ Oladijo and I'm here with Ms. Kendra Thomas. Ms. Kendra Thomas, as you know, February is the month of the year that we recognize the achievements and impact that African Americans have had on our history of our nation. When Carter G. Woodson established Negro History Week in 1926, he recognized the importance of providing a theme to focus the attention of the public. This year's theme is the Black family. Representation, identity, and diversity offers a rich tapestry of images that we can explore. Since this is a public high school and you are a graduate and member of the Spanish River family, we thought it'd be belifting for you to share with the student body here at Spanish River High School the opportunities, challenges, and successes you have encountered during your life's journey. What is the importance of the family in building a strong future for African Americans?
I think the family is extremely important, especially because Black Americans don't always necessarily have the traditional family unit. You know, matriarchs, our mothers, our grandmothers, aunties, extended family, our church family, our fraternal and sorority families end up being a huge part of our lives and definitely a huge support system. So I think the family is extremely important for encouraging, especially Black youth, making sure that, we have all of the resources that we need, no matter how big or small. That kind of encouragement, the prayer warriors in our lives, I think that all of that's extremely important.
How has inclusion suggested your drive to be successful?
I think inclusion is one of those things that is kind of a slippery slope. So, when we think about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the equity piece has only been added as of recently, it seems like. Inclusion is important because, to have people that come from different backgrounds, from different cultures, from different family upbringings, that is, something that makes you well-rounded as a person. It makes an organization well-rounded as you join them, whether, personal organizations that you're passionate about or professionally in your career. I think that making sure that there are different voices to be heard, different perspectives, and different backgrounds that are represented is extremely important to having a well-rounded society.
What have been some of the challenges that you have faced as an African American socially, as well as within the confines of your employment?
I think that many times, unfortunately, as a person of color, you might be one of the only people, represented in a room. It might be that you automatically become the representative for the entire, race or gender or, various other identifications. And so, I think that, having the opportunity to be that representative is important for, being able to have a groundbreaking impact upon some of these organizations, and, very blessed to do so. I've been in rooms where I was, the first Black woman or African American in general to have achieved a certain goal. But at the same time, I think that, it's well past due, that we aren't seeing so many firsts, that it isn't so, out of the ordinary, that we have to continue to be extraordinary. There's a saying that, to get half as much, we have to be twice as exceptional for people of color. And so I think that in my career personally, being a person of color has certainly afforded me scholarships. It has, allowed me to have experiences that I think, just from an equity standpoint, I wish that more young women and more young women of color have had the opportunity to have. But I also think that merit and, being a product of hard work and my family supporting me and, really, putting in, the hours of time and effort, that is more representative of my character than it is just to be a Black woman.
What is the strength of diversity in our society?
I think the strength of diversity in society has a lot to do with, again, just being able to have representation from so many cultures that otherwise maybe wouldn't have had the spotlight, right? We've had, the opportunity for Indigenous peoples to come forward with a lot of, cultural, progress within the past couple of years with making sure that, their name and legacies are not being tarnished by slurs being used, for example, in the sports context. We've seen, Black Americans continue to strive and make progress in government, in education, in business. And so as we continue to see, Black and brown people, Asian people, Indigenous people, make so much progress, I think that we have to, wrap our arms around one another, to support one another, but also, realize that diversity is the community. Diversity is what America is, and it's not going anywhere for any close time being. So we have to understand that what is diversity. It needs to be the status quo instead of it being something radical.
How do relationships create positive pathways into the future?
Relationships are always going to be powerful. I think that, it's not what you know, it's who you know is a large part of progress. It's a large part of, advancement. And, as you think about your involvement in the community, as you think about your involvement in social clubs, in professional networking, it's always going to be important to establish a rapport. It's going to be an important thing to make connections and cultivate relationships, because you never know what bridge you'll be able to walk over instead of a bridge that you necessarily may have burned. And so I think again, as we think about diversity, as we think about inclusiveness, each one needs to teach one. Each one, we need to reach back and make sure that we are empowering our communities, and empowering one another to be successful. And so relationships are always going to be something that are extremely important. And I think that, if you, use relationships wisely and ethically to your advantage, then you'll definitely go far.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas, for sharing your journey since graduation here at Spanish River.
I hope sincerely that through these presentations that the students here at Spanish River will take as much as they can away from what is being said and what is being done to create a positive direction for them, right? And their different endeavors as they move toward a more positive future.
Now a poem from Margaret Walker. For my people everywhere singing their slave songs repeatedly, their dirges, their ditties, and their blues and jubilees, praying their prayers nightly to an unknown God, bending their knees humbly to an unseen power. For my people lending their strength to the years, to the gone years, and the now years, and the maybe years, washing, ironing, cooking, scrubbing, sewing, mending, plowing, hoeing, digging, planting, pruning, patching, dragging along a never gaining, never reaping, never knowing, and never understanding. For my playmates in the clay and dust and sand of Alabama backyards, playing, baptizing, and preaching, and doctor, and jail, and soldier, and school, and mama, and cooking, and playhouse, and concert, and store, and hair, and Miss Chumby and company. For the cramped, bewildered years we went to school to learn, to know the reasons why, and the answers to, and the people who, and the places where, and the days when. In memory of the bitter hours we discovered we were black, and poor, and small, and different, and nobody cared, and nobody wondered, and nobody understood. For the boys and girls who grew up in spite of these things, to be man and woman, to laugh and dance and sing and play, and drink their wine and religion and success, to marry their playmates and bear children and then die of consumption and anemia and lynching. For my people thronging 47th Street in Chicago and Lenox Avenue in New York and Rampart Street in New Orleans. Lost, disinherited, dispossessed, and happy people filling the cabarets and taverns and other people's pockets, needing bread and shoes and milk and land and money and something all our own. For my people walking blindly, spreading joy, losing time, being lazy, sleeping when hungry, shouting when burdened, drinking when hopeless, tied and shackled and tangled, among others, by the unseen creatures who tower over us ominously and laugh. For my people blundering and groping and floundering in the dark of churches and schools and clubs and societies, associations and councils and committees and conventions, distressed and disturbed and deceived and devoured by money-hungry, glory-craving leeches. preyed on by facile force of state and fad and novelty, by false prophet and holy believer. For my people standing, staring, trying to fashion a better way from confusion, from hypocrisy and misunderstanding, trying to fashion a world that will hold all the people, all the faces, all the Adams and Eves and their countless generations. Let a new earth rise. Let another world be born. Let a bloody peace be written in the sky. Let a second generation full of courage issue forth. Let a people loving freedom come together. Let a beauty full of healing and strength, of final clenching, be the pulsing in our spirits and blood. Let the martial songs be written. Let the dirges disappear. Let a race of men now rise and take control. Thank you.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Now, a poem by Langston Hughes. I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes. But I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow, I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody will dare say to me, eat in the kitchen. Then, besides, they'll see how beautiful we are and be ashamed I, too, am America.
Hi, I'm Marcianne.
And I'm Stephanie. And we're the captains of the 2020 to 2021 Spanish River Step Club.
This year's theme for Black History Month is Black Family, Representation, Identity, and Diversity.
To showcase this, we put together a routine that includes songs from 15 different Black countries, highlighting some of their dance moves.
Now sit back,
relax, and enjoy the performance.
Se ha dicho ocupa mama, sugua. Mama way, Shorty said she coming with her brethren, cause she saw a young pull up in the Rover. Now she said she wanna come over, yeah, but I don't want no lover. I just wanna make the moolah la. Got them all screaming ooh la la. Je m'appelle El Généralissimo Bobino Mundigo. Quindi, e futa kate. Alcool, e futa kate. Bilangwa langwa, e futa kate. Oya petit e fe. you? If I show you my pockets, baby, are you gonna dance you? If I show you my wallet, I will show you the money. Baby, dance from you. Baby, move from you. Don't go from you.
This gal is a road gal, road gal. Mash up the place with me tight pants. Rotate the waist in a slow motion. This gal take way gal man. This gal is a road gal.
Jolie nana recherche joli Joe. Comment on fait? Je suis pas très mytho. Manger le truc, je sens les pipeaux, les pipeaux. Oh yeah. Ils m'ont rendu bête. Je suis tombé la première. Merde. Ils m'ont rendu bête. Je suis tombé la première.
So baby, I'ma pull up. Anywhere where you want, I'ma pull up. Bad man in the big man. See if you wanna pull up, baby, come here, I'ma pull up. So baby, I'ma pull up. Tu vas sur, baby, girl, mais c'est ça. Bro, vas sur, baby, girl, mais c'est ça. Tu vas sur, baby, girl, mais c'est ça. Me say, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah. Whoa, whoa. Yeah. They don't know what we've been through when I knew. Mais comment jamais blodé, fais un sel pour souquer, fais un sel pour trembler, coussa maman, coussa maman, hip, coussa maman, coussa maman, mais comment jamais blodé.
I hope you enjoyed our Black History Month presentation. Thank you to all the students and faculty members who were involved in putting it together. Earlier this school year, in response to the social injustice that plagued our country, I approached our administration about creating a Black student union to provide a forum for the discussion of these social matters. I know that many of you have found yourselves similarly impassioned. It is critical that we become involved in change at the community level to effect change on a national scale. So, as we carry on with our day, I urge you to brainstorm ways that you can do your part by supporting Palm Beach County's Black initiatives and making sure that all students feel welcomed here at Spanish River.
Our Lord, grant us good in this world and good in the life to come keep us safe from the torment of the fire. As we keep our hands up high and scream for justice. Ferguson, rest in peace Mike Brown, and all the young soldiers out there. God help us.
Time to take a stand and save our future.
Like we all got shot, we all got shot.